we're back for a second stream today, because I thought, why not give you a double stream since I won't be streaming tomorrow. So yeah, giving you double the entertainment today. We've actually got a wet race at Imola, so well, as of far anyway. The weather forecast could always change, but I just thought, um, you know, since I won't be doing a stream tomorrow, I'll just do the stream today and bring you the Imola excitement. We got one comment. Hi Ryan, welcome to the stream. Earlier was actually a pretty good stream, so hopefully we get the same again. Ah. Oh, that actually completed it, so lucky. No stream tomorrow because we've got the ERL race, JDM's League. So I just thought I'll have a break tomorrow, and then Thursday. Obviously, I'm not in work, and same with Friday, but I don't think I'll be streaming Friday either. Uh, so we've got this whole session now to complete this practice program. It's pretty straightforward, to be honest, as we've nearly done it, and we have done it. So that's quick practice over. Thank God. Yeah. Welcome to the stream, whoever's just joined. I'm a bit more energetic than earlier now. I've had a bit of a rest and stuff, so I'll probably be able to do a lot better in quali than I did earlier in China. But yeah, we've got a race that's fully wet all the way through, so really if anyone goes on the mediums in Q2 then it's going to be quite stupid. We haven't made any upgrades. The only team to do so is Aston Martin a tiny little bit, AlphaTauri a little bit, and Alfa Romeo and Haas. So yeah, as we'll go to qualifying, and hopefully we can actually get a good result from qualifying. We haven't been in Q3 yet in this Red Bull. So hopefully we can change that, and yeah. Our power unit is already pretty worn, but we've got a wet race anyway, so I don't think it should matter too much. Plus it's Imola, so
all set. Everyone clear?
it's really a downforce track more than anything. as we exit the longest pit lane on the calendar. And start our Q1 properly. Norris is already in the grass and nearly hitting into us. I don't know what was happening there. But yeah, just looking after the tyres, making sure that they're alright. Our car actually feels responsive on the front end. I haven't done no upgrades though into this weekend, as I've just ran through. But it must just be a setup thing, and in future races, if it is understeery, then it's obviously the setup, because I've got a few major upgrades, or ultimate upgrades even, for the aero in the upcoming races. But we are only going to stream Imola, this one race, so like we did with China earlier. But I can already tell a difference with this setup compared to the China one anyway. So hopefully we can put this into good use and get up into the top 10 at least. If not, then I'm hoping for P11. We nearly let the curb take us into the grass there. It's not a purple sector 1, which I'm not expecting. Anyway. But we definitely feel a lot quicker than we did at China, so I'm happy. We touched the gravel a little bit in those two corners, but across the line, and we're P3, so it's higher than we've been on our first run before. We're ahead of a Ferrari, so I'm happy about that one. Just shows that we've made a difference with our setup, but we're already improving through turns 1, 2 and 3. Improving even more. Verstappen goes quickest, which I'm not surprised about. Mercedes is very quick. We go wide there, but it's lost us a little bit of time. Oh, and we nearly spin, and we managed to save it, and we back out of our lap, so we was on for another good lap, but yeah, it's better to just save the car than absolutely bin it and be out of qualifying completely, as cars go through that are on their laps.
Okay, we can take you this lap.
I'm gonna check. Hi Quentin, nice to see you here. I don't think I've seen you in my stream before, so welcome. We are at Imola, round 3 of season 3, and we've got a wet race in store for us, which should make it exciting. We're 1 second off Verstappen's pace, but that's to be expected, given the cars that the car performance difference. Once we get those aero upgrades and a bit more straight line speed, we should be up there with Verstappen. And Russell goes P2. He's been up there in qualifying all season. Alonso goes P8. We go to Ocon in the Williams. And he goes P13. Just ahead of Jack Aitken. We go to our teammate then, Daniel Ricciardo. He got the podium in China last time out. Some good points for the team. For him to be up there as well, unlike in Bahrain. And he goes across the line. He goes P3. So very good lap time from him. Mazepin stays 17th. The next one to cross the line is going to be Valtteri Bottas. Can he beat his teammate Verstappen? He goes P2, not quite there. Sainz is next. Don't know where he went. But Stroll is going to be the last one to cross the line, and he goes P7. So we are down in P9. From what I thought was quite a good lap, we're still at the bottom end of the top 10 in Q1. But we have got the purple final sector, only by a little bit though, of Valtteri Bottas. It's really the first sector where we seem to be losing quite a massive amount of time. That's about 7/10. And then in the second sector, we're 5/10 off the fastest sector, and then yeah, purple sector 3. I'm not too sure if we're gonna have to go out again in Q1, but we will see. Hopefully we don't. I mean, we're P9, so it's higher than we've been in China. So Tsunoda's going to go for his lap. If you're new here, then I do not simulate the time when the AI are on their laps, because I know that on F1 2021 there's still a glitch where if you simulate the time, it makes the AI go faster and they get obviously quicker lap times. So I just watch them through their lap time, and so then they can post a legitimate one. But Tsunoda is quite quick in the first sector actually. 22.8. Which isn't far off the fastest first sector, I don't think. It's actually quite close to it. The fastest first sector. So he's second sector though. Yeah, he's only a tiny bit away. He's lost it through the second sector though. Only by a little bit. And now through the final 2 corners goes Tsunoda, our former teammate from last season in the McLaren. Opens DRS and goes third. He goes ahead of his teammate Russell by 2 thousandths. So the 2 teammates at Mercedes and at McLaren are basically inseparable. You can see the pace difference though between the teams. But yeah, I don't think that we're going to go back out in Q1. So Sainz will be the first one to set a lap, and he's actually P6. So everyone, apart from the top 4 ahead of us, so Lando, Stroll, Sainz and Daniel, have all gone out and they're flying laps. And everyone behind us too. Maybe should be a bit worried, just in case that's track evolution, as we know it's quite rapid in this game. We'll watch Sainz on his lap, since he's going to be the first one to set one. I will check chat though first. I do not have steering wheel, no, I am on controller. I was looking to get a steering wheel, but my room has been changed around recently. Well, not recently, about a month ago, so I don't have room for a steering wheel anymore. Or I don't have the, like, the shelf, anything basically for a steering wheel. So I'm sticking with controller. I mean, I'm I'm always used to controller anyway. I've always played on controller, obviously, but yeah. So here goes science then. Stays P6. So we'll see the timing ladder now to see if anyone goes quicker than us. Lewis doesn't. Perez does in the Alpine. And so does Alonso. So the two Alpines improving. I don't think that we're out though. No, we're not. We're in P13. This is only Q1 and we seem like we've got a lot of pace, but a shock knockout is actually Ocon. I'm back. So, as I was saying, a shock knockout, really. Ocon in P16. He's only just about got knocked out, but given that his teammate's up in P8, I don't think that Ocon should be down there. I mean, I can't really say a lot. I'm down in P13 and Ricardo's up in 5th, but we're not knocked out, which is the difference. So we'll go through into Q2. I'm sorry for the silence, by the way. If I've lost a couple of you. Hi, Gabri. Welcome to the stream. I don't think I've seen you here before, so welcome. And I hope you enjoy this stream today. This is the second stream that I've done today, because I won't be streaming anything tomorrow, as I've got a league race. So, yeah. Got double the entertainment, hopefully. And, yeah. There's no point in going on the mediums because one, we're not quick enough for them, and two, it's going to be a wet start anyway. I don't know if that Mercedes behind us, I think that's Verstappen. I don't know if he's on the mediums. I can't see why he would be, but let's slow down and get a closer look. No, he's on the softs. So the AI being smarter than they usually are, and opting for a tyre that is the quickest rather than going for strategy when it's not needed. But yeah, just looking after our tyres on this outlap, because they are the ones that we're going to start the race on. Plus we want to get a good lap straight away, so we don't want too much tyre wear by having to go for a second lap. There's already been a lock up into that chicane, which is quite surprising actually. and we prepare for our lap now. Going around the final corner to start our Q2 run. We're a bit late on the DRS compared to usual, which shouldn't affect us too much. And we nearly spin it. We're on the gravel and on the grass, and then we do spin. So flashback time, first flashback of this stream. We're better through that chicane than we were in Q1. It's all about making that progress. We're a bit squirmish on the exit of that hairpin though, because could have lost us quite a few times. I don't even know what I'm saying, to be honest. Quite a bit of time it could have lost us. There we go, a bit wide and over the curbs, but shouldn't affect us. Now through this final sector where we were fastest in Q1. I mean, yeah, Q1. So let's see if we can keep up that at least. We dip a wheel in the gravel again, and we go P3. So we're ahead of Norris this time, but our teammate Ricciardo is in front of us.
That's Daniel ahead. Their best
Don't know how much
by
by 4 tenths. So the gap is closer. So we move out the way for Bottas. The gap is a lot closer than in Q1. I mean, last season we had a habit of going slower than our teammate in Q1. Q2 building a bit of speed, getting closer. And then in Q3 out-qualifying them. But it hasn't been the case so far this season. Ricciardo's out-qualified us every race. Which has only been 2 times.
There's only 1 lap of fuel remaining.
You want to look after these tyres as much as possible, as I mentioned on the out lap. So just taking it nice and easy on the in lap as well. What am I even talking about? I've just been on about the AI being usually dumb. Oh my god, that was very nearly a crash. I've just been talking about the AI being dumb and going for strategy. We don't even need to look after these tyres, because we won't be starting on the race on them if we get through into Q3. So, bit of a dumb moment from me. It's late.
Understood, stopping this lap.
But yeah, still P5, so not too bad. Right behind our teammate. And of course it's not about the gap, it's about the gap of the positions, not the gap of the time. The gap of the time is quite big between me and Ricciardo, but we're still right next to each other, which is what matters to me, anyway. Oh, and then Sainz just goes and puts it in between me and Ricciardo, so yeah, typical. So here goes Tsunoda then on his lap, about to finish it, and he goes second. Wow, quick lap from Tsunoda there to go ahead of at least one of the Mercedes. And then Gasly goes P7, knocks us down into P8. We still get the fastest last sector by a tenth more than the last time. We've brushed up on our first sector a little bit, but yeah, Tsunoda very close to Verstappen, and Russell very close to Bottas. And then Ricciardo's not too far off either. But no fastest sectors for the top 2. Bottas getting the 2 fastest sectors, and then seemed to have lost it in the last sector. So we'll accelerate to the final part of Q2. Probably am gonna have to go out again. Of course, it doesn't matter if I use the same tyres. I won't be starting the race on them. So yeah, if we get through into Q3, we'll only have one set of soft tyres.
Checks complete. All personnel be aware we have a car leaving.
Which I actually want to try and do. I want to get through into Q3 for the first time. So that's why I'm using the fresh set of tyres. Yeah, Norris was quite far down as well, I noticed. Compared to where he was in Q1 anyway. So maybe he's going to come out and he could even probably go ahead of us. Since he did do that in Q1 as well. But now, we're getting ready to go onto our lap. A nice exit out of the final corner. I opened DRS earlier this time, and it's already gaining us a few thousandths. It's not much, but it's improving, so we like a bit of improvement. Up by 200ths now. And nicely through those corners. We can definitely gain a lot here. Not a lot, but we gain a bit more. Again, going uphill through that chicane, we're up by now a 10th. And now this is where the standards are high. Setting the last fastest sector in our current time. Well, our first time, I must say. And we're 2.5 tenths up, just over. And we cross the line, and we go P6. We're right behind Ricciardo again. So, yeah. I'm quite happy with that. I think we've got a good shot at getting through into Q3 now. With that time. Perez is knocked out. Leclerc's gone quicker than us. Drops me and Ricciardo down a place. We move out the way for the rest of the cars. Hamilton's just on the verge of getting knocked out, but I think he's through, as every driver has crossed the line. Stroll's out for AlphaTauri. Norris is just about out. He's in P11. But yeah, a very good qualifying. And we're through into Q3 for the first time this season. So we've been knocked out in Q2 in the first round. And then in the second round we got knocked out in Q1. And now we're getting through into Q3. So we've been in every single qualifying session. in terms of 1, 2, 3 now. But yeah, happy with that, and to be right behind Ricciardo as well, even more happy. We'll just check our engine wear. It's not too bad, but it's nearly getting to the 50%, so we've got to watch out for that. Maybe the reliability of this car isn't too good, but we haven't had any issues so far in races. And I'll just retire from session now, and we should be through into Q3. And I'll check chat. Nothing's happened. Very odd. But I hope everyone's had a nice day anyway. Of course, there's still a few hours left of the day, but so what do we all think of the new features trailer? There's a penalty for someone down there. Who was that? Stroll has got a penalty for, let's check, illegal blocking. So I'm not sure who he was illegal blocking, but it was someone, and he gets a penalty for it. So Norris, of course, just been on the verge of nearly getting through into Q3. Stroll's knocked out Perez, Zhou, and Fernando Alonso. So now we are going to wait until the final part of Q3. It's a long way away, but we get to watch everyone's laps and see what the pace is like. I think we'll be challenging for around 5th, 6th, 7th. It'll be close between us and the Ferraris. And obviously our teammate Ricciardo, because I was right there with him in Q2. As we'll watch Russell on his lap, since he's the first one on it. Nicely through that uphill chicane. He's going to go around now. The last corner on this racetrack, the last proper corner anyway, and across the line, it's a 1:11.4. I think that's the fastest of the pace that we've seen all of the Imola weekend. Tsunoda now, he goes 4/10 slower than his teammate. I think that Ricciardo's going to be the next one to cross the line, or that Mercedes of, no, it's not Verstappen. Ricciardo crosses the line. He goes a 1:12.0. Not too bad. Bottas, he goes P2. He splits the two McLarens. Now Sainz, we're struggling to find who's next, but we'll get there soon. Sainz now, he's going to cross the line. This is where we're looking at, and he goes third, a 1:11.8. He goes ahead of Yuki Tsunoda in the McLaren. Now Leclerc, let's see where he goes. He goes 5th, just behind Tsunoda and his teammate. The next driver currently has fastest sector 1. Oh no, the next driver is going to be Hamilton to cross the line in the Aston Martin. So goes through the final 2 corners now. Maybe get a bit of slipstream off the McLaren, but not much. Won't help him too much anyway. Goes across the line now and goes P7. So slowest driver of them all in this session anyway. Max Verstappen now with the fastest first sector. He's going to go into P2. George Russell is on provisional pole at the moment. There's still Gasly, but I don't think he's going to be able to challenge the top two. He is first in the speed trap. He goes P5 ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. So Russell, right now, is on provisional pole ahead of the two Mercedes. Then it's a Ferrari, then an AlphaTauri, and then Russell's teammate Tsunoda. Our teammate is down in 8th, which isn't what I was expecting from Ricciardo. I was expecting him to be at least ahead of the AlphaTauri with Gasly. But we've still got our run to do, so let's skip straight to it. And hopefully we can get high up in our first Q3 of the season. It's such a long wait to get out of that pit lane. But we're finally out on track. We're starting our prep lap for our hot lap. As we've got 6 people in the stream, welcome. Hope you're enjoying this career mode series that I decided to start posting. Don't even know when. I think it was last Thursday, Friday. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, now into the final sector and preparing for this first and final lap of qualifying. As 3 drivers are still in the pits, it's a McLaren, an AlphaTauri and an Aston Martin, so I don't know who the McLaren would be, but if it's Russell then I can't see why you would stay in the garage. And we nearly spin it. And we go wide, so we're going to flash back. And we've nearly done it again. Oh my god, I'm so sorry for these flashbacks again. And we go into the gravel, lose the back end quite a lot. Bit bouncy over the curves. We actually have taken damage to the side pods. Shouldn't matter too much though. As we're at the end of our lap anyway, but it does seem to matter. And we can't flash back that far anyway, so we have to deal with it. It's round the final corner now. Open the DRS. race, and we go P4. Wow, we're in the lofty heights of P4. 2.5 tenths off Verstappen. So that's actually not bad. I could maybe go for another lap if this side pod damage doesn't affect us too much. We're already improving through the first and second corners. As Verstappen now is on pole position. It kind of puts us off a little bit, but Russell actually didn't go back out. He was the McLaren that didn't go back out. Not protecting his pole position at all. And it's a Mercedes 1-2. Bottas goes second. Oh, Russell actually did go back out. He's gone P2, so it was Tsunoda who didn't. So maybe he's got a grid penalty. Because the AI tend to do that whenever they have a grid penalty, is not go back out. So and we nearly spin it, and that's our quali over. But with P4
This lap
at Imola,
into the pits at the end of this
an amazing result. I'll take that. To say we've been knocked out in Q2 in the first round and Q1 in the second round, round 3, P4 is a pretty damn good result. So I will take it. And yeah, it's a wet start, which is the first of the season. First wet start of the season. So yeah, we'll see what we can do from P4, and if it's going to be a crazy race, which it usually is at Imola when it's raining. And of course we've got that rain all race. But whether it goes dry is a different question.
And with qualifying complete, let's review
Oh, and
our
there's
top
more
three
grid
today.
penalties.
Verstappen, Russell, and Valtteri
More of a
Bottas.
curveball.
Goodbye for now then, but
So
we're really just getting
that's
started.
Leclerc
Make sure to join us again for
and
Lights Out
Sainz, the
tomorrow.
two Ferraris, taking grid penalties. And I'm guessing that's going to be for the same reason as why Stroll did. It doesn't affect us, but it does with our teammate. Pushes him up one position, which is better than nothing. Yeah, illegal blocking for both of them. And I'll check chat, because I know... Hi Sam, hi JDM. I don't know why the game category is in F1 2014. I am completely not sure, but it is. How can I get better at F1? I have a crappy steering wheel with 180 degrees, and for like 10 degrees it doesn't register any wheel. So I'm actually on controller, but it looks like Grack has actually helped you in the comments there, so thank you, Grack. Yeah, I'm on controller, and yeah, this is what I said about people not liking flashbacks. We've got one complainer in the comments is don't use flashbacks, but it's a career mode. Flashbacks are there to be used, so I'm going to use them, and I always have done. It just helps me get better at the game, really. Even though people have already said that I'm quite good, you know, there's always room for improvement, and I think that doing the flashbacks actually makes you think about how to take the corner more, and yeah, it definitely helps me. That's how I've been improving over the F1 games. And hi Grack, by the way. And we're going to go into the race then. There we go, light rain all the way through. So I've had this before, and it's actually gone dry halfway through, but whether that happens in this race is going to be a different question. But we'll go to the race and go to the grid for Imola.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Edwards, Pierre Gasly, and Tsunoda. Ricciardo, Hamilton, Sainz, they've taken a grid penalty, and Lando Norris. Perez, Joe, Charles Leclerc, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty, and Fernando Alonso. Ocon, Giovinazzi, Lance Stroll, they've taken a grid penalty, and Jack Aitken. Mick Schumacher, and Nikita Mazepin. That's it then, it's time to go racing, as we head to trackside for today's race.
So only the grid penalties from the illegal blocking were taken from the AI drivers. So no engine penalties for anyone. We're going to go even lower on the fuel than we did at China, because at China we actually ended up with over 2 laps of fuel, even though we had no safety car, no VSC. So yeah, we only overfueled at China by 0.3 laps. Plus we're in the wet, so we're probably going to do a lot more fuel saving. So we're going to actually underfuel the car by minus 0.2. And we're going to get to the 5 red lights then. And Verstappen's off to a slow start compared to Russell. Russell's already up into the lead. Gasly gets an amazing start from P5. He's up into P4 already. Tsunoda's looking to go around the outside of us. Russell's kept the lead. The two Mercedes are going side by side into turn 1 and 2. They made contact. And I think that's Verstappen with damage. And Bottas is still hanging it around the outside of Verstappen. So there could even be even more contact into the chicane. Bottas goes around the outside. Gasly's even gone for the move. Verstappen has got damage. He's missing the end plate of that front right, and now we're side by side with him, and round the outside of the hairpin we go, and we're up into P4 again. So Gasly's made his way up into P3. There's a virtual safety car. I'm pretty sure that there's a crash back there. Someone's lost their front wing, but who that is we don't know. I think it's an Alfa Romeo, because the Alfa Romeos seem to be quite far back. Right, so here we go. Giovinazzi's going quite slow. Whether that's damage, I can't see any incident that I would see as a virtual safety car. Ah, Mazepin. Why didn't I look at Mazepin? He's got no front wing. I don't know, he's completely come off before the hairpin. And that's what's caused the virtual safety car then. So, Mazepin in the wars as always. And we get our first virtual safety car, which has kind of helped Verstappen stay with the rest of us actually. He's got quite lucky there. But he's still going to have to pit, of course. And we get a nice virtual safety car restart. We gain a little bit on Gasly, but not enough to make any sort of move into the final 2 corners. We get into the gravel a little bit. But Russell's leading by an absolute mile. And Verstappen, yeah, he's in the pits. Ricciardo's made his way up to P6. He's looking to challenge Tsunoda behind for P5. It would be amazing if he could get past him. And he's looking for the move, but I don't think he's actually got through. He's side by side with Tsunoda. So if that's the same as the 2 Mercedes, someone could come off with damage from that battle, and it looks to be Ricciardo, as he's dropped back from Tsunoda by quite a lot. So our teammate with damage then. And Alfa Romeo has actually pit, so an Alfa Romeo did get damage. And of course Mazepin and Verstappen going into the pits as well on lap 1. But in that uphill chicane, losing a bit of time to Gasly ahead of us. It's quite weird actually. Gasly's AI, some races he is on top form, and then others he's just, you know, he's nowhere to be seen. In Brazil last season, I think he actually won that race. I'm not sure where he finished. I think it was either a win or P2. I know he definitely got on the podium, so yeah. It's quite weird, Gasly's AI performance. As we're just looking to stay with him, of course, no DRS since we are in the wet conditions. Ricciardo actually hasn't pit, so he don't have damage. He's just dropping back from Tsunoda because that McLaren is quite a quick car, which is what I'm probably worried about most. As Tsunoda is catching us. We are back and forth with Gasly, the gap to him. Yeah, a lot better through that uphill chicane, not losing any time to Pierre. But down the straights we are going to use and abuse our ERS so we can maintain that gap to Gasly.
3.8 seconds.
But Bottas doesn't seem to be catching Russell either, which is quite weird. Given the performance of that Mercedes, McLaren have obviously made a step up in their performance. Gasly's quite a bit loose on the back end there, nearly loses it. We nearly lose our back end there. But whoa, and Gasly really stepping out there. We're a bit closer to Gasly, and plus with his mistake we could maybe even gain on him and look for a move. I don't think that we're going to make one though on this lap, but it's promising. We are gaining, so yeah, maybe next lap we can go for the move if we just stay with him throughout this lap. But if this is how it finishes, we will actually have 3 different winners in the first 3 rounds. Because round 1 winner was Verstappen, round 2 was Bottas at China, and of course if this is how it stays it will be Russell. So still quite an interesting championship. I thought it was going to be Mercedes domination, which is why I'm so happy to see Russell out in front in the McLaren. But we're definitely a lot closer to Gasly now, going down this part of the track. But Tsunoda's catching behind, so we need to get this move done on Gasly as soon as possible, so then we can start pulling away and at least put a car in between me and Tsunoda. But using our ERS then, down the straight we get purple sector 3 once again, continuing the pattern of the whole weekend, but we've not caught enough on Gasly down that straight to go for any sort of move. It would have been, it's an awkward corner to go for a dive bomb from as far back as I was, so I definitely wasn't going to risk damage, especially on this sim damage that we play on. But Tsunoda now, nearly within that second. It could be a 3-car battle for P3 in this race. So we nearly lose the back end there, getting on the curb. Not taking the best line through there, making quite a few mistakes now.
This rain could be with us for a while. Light rain conditions for the foreseeable future. Inters look like the best tyre for now.
But yeah, we're not as close as we were the last lap to Gasly, which is not good because we need to be closer rather than further back. Oh, and there's a yellow flag back there. Is that an engine failure or a crash? Guess we'll find out. And Hamilton's out once again. So he retired in China. And once again, he doesn't score points, and it is an engine failure. So that Mercedes power, I'm so glad that I moved away from it, because it's not the best in terms of reliability. It's a bit like Red Bull powertrains in real life. It's got the speed, but it just hasn't got the reliability that it needs to be up there all the time. And we spin it. Flashback time, yay! Maybe not putting my full concentration into that part of the track, which I should have been doing. As we jump over the curb once again, taking inventive lines through that chicane. Not ideal for our chase on Gasly, or with Tsunoda chasing us behind and closing the gap. I feel a bit oversteery on the corner exits. I'll check my tyre temps just in case it was overheating on the rear end, but we're not actually too bad on the rear, so maybe a bit less throttle application for me, and we'll be fine. We won't be spinning.
Caution.
There's a yellow flag still here for Hamilton's car. Surprised that's not a VSC, because that's a pretty dangerous spot for there to just be a car left there, and anyone could spin straight off there into the gravel. But yeah, they've got rid of it now. And Norris is actually doing quite a good job. He's in P7 and defending from a Ferrari while he's in a Williams. So a nice job from him. He may get Williams' first points of the season, which they've been so close to in the first 2 rounds, but they just haven't managed to get the points. But he's comfortably in them right now, so hoping for the best for Williams and Norris. Of course, it's his first season back in F1, as he got kicked out mid-season last season when we moved ourselves to McLaren. As we're improving on our lap times. Purple sector 3 again. We're just running out of the straight, to be honest, to get Gasly. Oh, and a bit of wheel spin coming out of that corner. causing us to lose a bit of time. And again, nearly overcorrecting ourselves. And once again, losing time through that uphill chicane. So something that we need to work on. Bottas is now setting the pace, so maybe trying to push to catch up to Russell.
Managing your tyres. Manage your tyres.
Tyres aren't even that warm, Jeff. What are you on about? But closing up to Gasly there in the braking zone quite a lot. He went a bit wide off the racing line. So maybe we are putting the Frenchman under pressure. And yeah, Bottas has caught up to Russell by quite a significant amount, and Norris is out. Oh no. Norris is out after doing so well. I think I have completely jinxed it for him. And he's pulled over. Another Mercedes power unit gone. He just about moves out the way for the AlphaTauri of Stroll. But such a shame for Norris, he was doing so well up there in P7. Looking to get Williams his first points of the season, and ends in retirement. So completely unlucky season for Lando. Now, closer to Gasly. Again, the first time in a few laps. Going through the final two corners, we're right on his gearbox. So maybe this could be the move. Down this straight and into turn 1 and maybe even 2. We get the slipstream, we get the ERS. But it's a yellow flag because of Norris's car. We may not be able to go for the move, but we're going to send it in the green flag zone. And down the inside we go. We don't make contact. Gasly bumps over the curbs, nearly makes contact with our car, but we're up into P3. Finally, after being stuck behind Gasly for so long, we finally made the move, and we're up into the podium positions. Now we've just got to try and keep it here. Because obviously we've seen Gasly's pace so far this race, and it's been quite evenly matched with us. So he could just come back at us as easily as we went at him. So yeah, especially up that uphill chicane. He's been gaining a lot of time away from me through there. But Bottas up ahead, he's 1.2 behind Russell. 1.1 now. And he's set the pace once again, sets the fastest lap of the race. So he's really pushing that car to the limits to try and get Russell. But no attack from Gasly. Back. Oh, and we nearly lose the back end there. But we're okay, and that's the main thing.
Okay, gap ahead is
Personal best sector 1.
seconds.
Verstappen sets the fastest lap, takes it off his teammate by 0.2. course, if everyone is doing a zero stop today, like was on our suggested strategy, then the people who've had to pit for damage probably have no chance of getting back through the pack. But with a car like Verstappen's, then you know, you might just have a chance of getting a few points, but not the lofty heights of P1 and 2 where he's been in the first two races. And Joey's out, virtual safety car, and Alonso's crash. Full safety car. So I was just talking about having to catch up, and there's been a crash between Zhou and Alonso. Zhou's completely spun it into the barriers and comes back on the circuit, and Alonso's now out. Crashes straight into him, and then into the barrier he goes. And yeah, Aston Martin double retirement. So a big crash there actually. But this does mean, of course, we get to catch up to Bottas and Russell. And we've caught up to the safety car already. Well, we've already got the safety car there. Just need to catch up to it. I'll check chat while we're under the safety car. Much better. But yeah, there's 16 of us in the race. 2 Aston Martins, an Alpine, and a Williams out. 2 were reliabilities, 2 were what caused this safety car. Nearly losing the back end under the safety car, trying to warm up our rears. Don't want to get them too cold, so no, but yeah, I don't get why the AI don't weave and safety car in intermediate conditions, because surely their tyres would be getting quite cold, because when I go in a straight line my tyres get so cold and I have to weave. But everyone's caught up to the safety car now, so the safety car should be in this lap. And let's see what kind of restart we get compared to Russell and Bottas, and of course Gasly behind us. Yeah, look how cold my tyres have gone while I haven't been weaving them. It's kind of odd. And safety car should be in now. 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 No. Now. Okay, so safety car hasn't been called in where it usually is. And it looks like we're going for an extra lap. I don't actually know if we're waiting for any car. I think it's Mazepin what we're waiting for, because he's so far back. Yeah, Mazepin and Giovinazzi. They're actually so far back. This is just safety car content, of course. You know, how selfish is the safety car, not thinking that we've got a stream to do and entertainment. And Mazepin has finally now caught up, so safety car should be in this lap. I hope that I haven't, you know, built that up again to be absolutely nothing. Nearly losing the back end quite a bit, trying to warm up the rears again. But yeah, safety car is in this lap, so we're going to go racing again, guys.
Let's make sure those tyres are up to temperature, and remember there is no overtaking until the timing line. Stay in position until the green flags.
So I'll try and keep our tyres warm while we're going at this slow pace, and hopefully get a good restart compared to Bottas. It's our only chance, really, I'd say, of getting any sort of move done off into P2. As they go for it, and we use the ERS because I know that the AI, they don't use the ERS until the finish line. We go alongside Bottas now. We're going to go into turn 1. He's on the outside, we're up the inside of him. We go over the curb, he goes over the curb as well, but we're up into P2. It's kind of similar to the moves that we did on Gasly, but Bottas is going to come back at us into this next chicane. We squeeze him to the inside, but he backs out, and now Gasly's gone for the move on Bottas, and Bottas is down into P4, Gasly up into P3. He's got the move completely done. Verstappen's still stuck behind the Haas of Mick Schumacher. I think that Bottas has just sent it on Gasly in the hairpin, but Russell already leading by a lengthy 2.3 seconds. But we don't have to worry about behind us, really. Gasly's got that sorted for us. He's keeping Bottas at bay, so we can just focus on ahead of us, trying to catch up to George. Schumacher's still holding up for Verstappen.
We're leading our teammate by
Down there in P13 and 14. Of course, even though he is third to last for Verstappen, it's still not far off the point and coming back in this race. Plus, remember, he is on fresher intermediates than what we are, only by a lap, but you know, it does matter. He's got through on Schumacher now. And he's up into P13. There's also Bottas isn't finding a way around Gasly. So Gasly's doing a mega job at keeping him behind. Or keeping any driver behind, really. Until we got through. There's an interesting stat from last race. In both round 1 and round 2, the same 10 drivers scored points in both rounds. So we've got 10 drivers that have scored and 10 that are still on nil. But I think with Alonso being out, we're going to have a new driver finishing in the top 10. At least one new driver anyway. Since Alonso was one of those drivers to finish in the top 10 in both races. As we're catching up to George Russell actually. And this is for the lead of the race. So quite exciting. But obviously, through that uphill chicane, my weakness. Just don't have enough confidence there in the wet. Don't want to bin it into the barriers. But now sector 3 is my strength. As we've always been setting purple sector 3s throughout quali and this race. We go across the line, we nearly set the fastest lap of the race. Yeah, we nearly set the fastest lap of the race. We only need to go a little bit quicker in order to get that, so not bad. We're not bad in the rain. And it brings the performance a lot closer together. And we're improving by the amount that we need to in order to get that fastest lap. It's kind of a bad chicane which makes us lose time. If you're wondering how I know all of this, this is because I can see on my steering wheel when and Russell sets the fastest lap now. But it is still a 121.8, so we're still not far off. But any retirements from now in this race will probably be a crash, because we've had 2 reliability problems for Hamilton and Norris, and the maximum amount that you do get for reliability is 2 drivers in a 50% race. We had a crash with, well, we didn't have a crash with them, but Guan Yu Zhou and Alonso both collecting each other and causing the other 2 DNFs, so that's brought us down to 16 drivers. We've had a safety car, VSC, but I think we're about to set the fastest lap of the race, and we do, by 3/10, which is quite amazing. This is what we need more of in this season. But still catching George Russell. Only by little bits each lap, but it's enough. Getting a little tiny bit better as well at that uphill chicane, as we're learning each lap from our mistake.
till the end of the race.
These tyres
Gap
will
to
last to the
teammate
end of the
behind
race,
is
don't worry, Jeff.
6.8 seconds.
I've got this sorted. They're only on 23% wear, 22 laps in. I'm pretty sure that we don't need to worry about the tyre wear. Russell nearly losing the back end there on the exit of the chicane, causing us to catch within 1 second of him. Of course, no DRS, so it's not like that matters, but that is striking distance, I'd say. Because now we could get a little bit of a tow down the straight, which helps us keep up with him. Of course, we've got the ERS usage as well. But yeah, 10 laps to go in this race. Just trying to focus on catching Russell. Not a lot more has happened since that safety car. Except for us catching Russell, of course. So I'm not sure why that came up then. We shouldn't have got damage from that exit curb, because it's not high enough to give us any damage. But Bottas is still struggling to get past Gasly, which is quite amazing for us anyway, not for Mercedes. They've had an absolute nightmare race compared to the first 2 rounds of this season. And Tsunoda's actually passing Bottas, so it's getting even worse. We'll look at that soon when we know that someone's got the move done, which I think that Bottas has stayed ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. So we'll have a look at this. Tsunoda looking around the outside then, on Bottas. Oh, a little bit of contact made. Tsunoda goes over the curbs, nearly repeating what happened between Bottas and Verstappen on lap 1, but Tsunoda avoiding the front wing of Bottas. But that's caused Bottas now to drop out of a second of Gasly in 3rd. So Gasly hasn't really got to worry about behind him as we get on quite a few of those curbs. Which doesn't help us with our time gain at all. Bottas now should be looking in his mirrors for Tsunoda. McLaren seem to be the superior in the wet conditions over Mercedes. Of course, we don't know how Verstappen's race would have gone if he didn't make contact with his teammate on lap 1. so he could be in the head of this still, maybe chasing Russell just like we are, but we never know, because the contact happened and he's down there. I'm guessing trying to make his way into the top 10. And we set the fastest lap once again, only by a little bit, but it's good to see that we've still got the pace.
10.3 seconds.
As we get purple sector 1 for the first time. Don't want to let that get to my head too much. And we're a lot closer to Russell now. Of course, it was about 4/10 to Gasly when we had to make the move, when we actually got to get alongside him. And of course that McLaren is quick in a straight line, so we'll probably need it about 3/10 off the final corner, as Russell has a little bit of a wobble through turn 1. And look how close we are now to Russell. Nearly within that 3/10. And hopefully we may be able to make a legitimate move for the first time this season for the lead of the race. If we don't make a mistake like that, I don't think we're going to get it this
9
lap.
laps of fuel remaining.
But we never know. We are gaining. Using that ERS, of course, using and abusing it, but yeah, too far back for any dive bomb, and we'll just have to be patient and wait another lap. And thank you guys to the people who are still in the stream, by the way. Thank you for sticking with me. I know a lot doesn't go on when I'm chasing someone. Ooh. But yeah. Thank you for staying here and being loyal to this stream. Means a lot to me. As our engine warning light comes on, the control electronics now on 60%, the ICE over 50%. The MGUK and the MGUH and the turbocharger in the 46%. The energy store and the gearbox are in 30% still. We accidentally leave our ERS on, which would have been a nightmare if I didn't turn that off. And we've got over 5 laps of fuel. not good, of course. You want as least wait as possible. But we're running out of laps now to get this move done on Russell. So we need to get it done soon. Otherwise it's not going to happen for us. We will have to stick with P2. Our season best result, of course, already from Bahrain. But this one really about pace and skill, really, in the wet. Not about strategy, like the other two have been.
We're starting to catch the car in front, but we need to look after the tyres. We won't be making another pit stop.
Oh, and we lose the rear. We're on the grass now. And we've lost the rear even more by getting over the curb. So it's our first flashback in a while, so you can't really complain. And I think that Russell is now starting to push, so maybe he was saving his tyres a little bit, because he's starting to gain away again from us. We're going to go around the final corner now to start the penultimate lap of the race. And Russell sets the fastest lap, and then so do we. So I didn't even realise we were on such a good lap. We did actually get red in the first two sectors, and then the last sector really saved us. No, but I think we're only going to have one more opportunity to get this move done, and that's next lap down that main straight. Oh, and Russell makes a mistake, but it's not big enough for us to go for any kind of move. We set the fastest lap of the race.
That's a new fastest lap of the race.
And we have lost our opportunity, so unless we go somewhere else, oh my god, Tsunoda. Unless we go for a move somewhere else across this lap, which I can't see happening, then we'll have to settle for P2, but we're going to keep pushing. We never give up until we cross that line. But we have lost that fastest lap now to Russell's teammate Tsunoda. Didn't actually see what lap it was, 121.1. So we need to go a tenth quicker, but I don't think it's going to happen, and I don't think that we're going to get P1 either. Especially after making that mistake. And yeah, so either way, even if we were to get P1, this is our third different race winner in 3 different rounds of this season. No Mercedes on the podium for the first time this season. but it's going to be George Russell, who rounds the final corner and goes across the finish line to win Imola, and we come home in P2. Russell takes that fastest lap. We don't get it, but I'm happy with P2, and it's our best weekend so far, starting P4 and finishing in P2.
It's a performance that our Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix winners can be justifiably proud of, and I'm sure there'll be celebrations tonight. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Rain always has the potential to liven up a race and mix up the order, and they've taken full advantage of that to claim the victory today.
It's a bit of a McLaren blurry sign in the background, isn't it? Jesus.
Come out on top.
As the winners make their way up to the podium, one can only imagine the celebrations that will take place at McLaren tonight. Congratulations to everyone on the team, securing the win and proving they're a force to be reckoned with out on the track.
Now then, Verstappen actually finished behind Mick Schumacher. Williams once again missing out on their points.
Today. No doubt his team and fans are extremely proud.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. The lead at the top comes down after a strong
and that is
weekend from the
really
challenging pack.
interesting.
It was
McLaren
also a strong
re-overtake
showing
us
from
in the
McLaren team
Constructors,
today as they
but
make their
look
way up
how
the standings.
close
Well,
the
and today
Drivers'
to another
Championship
fantastic
is.
weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who
Me and
joined us,
Bottas
and we'll
drawing
see
on
you for the
points.
next one.
Russell 1 point behind us, and Max Verstappen, who led the championship into this weekend, is 5 points behind us. So really interesting. But yeah, that sets it up nicely going into Portugal. But Verstappen did re-overtake Schumacher, I remember seeing it. But yeah, he must have had damage or something for the final few laps. And Ricciardo finished 6th, which is not too bad. It's 1 place off on where he started. And we're going to check the chat. Hi Philip, hi Lennon. From quite a while ago. Do a Leclerc, you did a Leclerc, lol. Yeah. If only Leclerc could use a flashback at Imola. I know, right? If only. And thank you, Christian. Russell was pushing a lot, and yeah, kind of a weird F1 universe we've got going on here. Quite a few driver transfers that are crazy. They happened 2 streams ago, so that would be stream number 3. Where we also did round 1 of this season. But we get that aero upgrade, and we look to do reliability. Apparently that's the worst for us, apparently. So we go to the next upgrade and we get that too, which is very great, very good for us. And we're now the 2nd best team with that upgrade. We go to the chassis now. And there you can see all the car performances. we're making progress. But our teammate's focus is actually quite low. 29, but he's 100 rated. He's Daniel Ricciardo. Yeah. This game is quite a controller game. I'd say it's the only F1 game in recent seasons where it's actually helped controller players to be a bit more level with steering wheel. But yeah, this is a very nice game to drive controller on once you get the hang of it. But I am going to leave it there. Now, the definite next time that I will be streaming this career mode will be Thursday. I'm not sure what time. I am off work all day Thursday, so be sure to keep checking this channel regularly to see if I am streaming this career mode, because it's definitely getting interesting, especially with that championship being so close going into Portugal. There's kind of got a glitch there, but yeah, there's the final championship before we leave it off there. And yeah, thank you for joining. It's not as many people as in the first stream today we had for China, but I'm not complaining. We got people in and we've had a good time with only a few of us, well, a few of you watching. So thank you so much for joining, and like I said, be sure to check this channel on Thursday. I won't be streaming tomorrow because I do have a league race, and I tend to not stream on league racing days. So yeah, thank you so much once again. It means the world to me. And yeah.